Well, we have U.S. annual rent growth holds at less than 3% in November, so November 2023. This is coming from CoreLogic, another great research firm. I shouldn't say just research firm. Their research is great.
Yeah.
And they're reporting out here, U.S. single-family rent growth increased by 2.7% year over year in November, in line with numbers recorded since the summer of 2023. Yeah. Attached rents grew by 3.3%, and detached single-family rental costs grew by 2.3%. So a little disparity between attached and detached. And among major U.S. metro areas, San Diego posted the nation's largest year-over-year rent gain in November, while both Austin, Texas, and Miami saw annual gain declines, which is weird. But I actually have an explanation for that.
Yeah.
Appreciation in lower-priced rental tiers continue to lead the nation at 2.9%. So here's why I like this. Number one, if you've been able to maintain rent at this elevated level post-pandemic, then you are a likely candidate to be able to afford a home at that same monthly expense. And
of course,
I also like that there's this kind of like sweet spot between that comment and the next one, which is if we can keep the rent increase lower than overall inflation, then I think that's going to help our affordability mathematically at large across the country.
Can.
It's math, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Math. We need an actual mathematician
you
here.
are.
Because I'm not here doing like the calculator stuff. But, some of this is I don't want this to come across as guesswork. No. I'm not just coming up here winging it. This is all well thought out.
Here's the thing that I love about data. Last year, it was like doom and gloom for rents. They're going to go down. It's going to crash. It's going to. But we're looking at the data here. What happened? How is it a big turn event in a positive way for rent? I mean, I'm not for it. I own several properties. I'm not one of those to go, hey, rents are up. I just don't do that. I try to be as fair as I can with my tenants, and that's why I've had them. I mean, one of my properties is since 2009. Been renting my same property a long time, I just try not to be that one. But I was worried for a time when I was reading and I was not paying attention to the data. I thought, Andy, I'm going to lose out here. My rent is not going to make any sense. What's going to happen here? Listen, it's been nothing but gone up.
Yeah, and it's even quoted in here. More than 3 years of increasing U.S. single-family rents and the rising costs of other goods have made many renters sensitive to the cost of living. That's it. That's it in a summary, in a nutshell, right there. But this is 3 years of that, and I think this is part of the explanation for me mentioning at the top of this section the Austin, Texas, and Miami saw annual declines because they're declining from ungodly astronomical increases. So if something went up 30% year over year and then declines 10, you are still way up by a lot. So I know San Diego seems to be the anomaly. Once again, San Diego is this anomaly in a lot of housing and real estate data, which is interesting that we're also doing this show at the same time. But I think specifically for Austin, Texas, and for Miami, Florida, the annual declines is just that. It's that during that time, though, of these 3 years, so many people migrated to Texas and to Florida. And it just shoved up a lot of that rental increase. And it wasn't just everyone buying homes out there that was causing home prices to rise at the lowest interest rates we've ever seen in our life, but the rent as well. And I think this is just some cooling off of that, which again, I'm saying cooling off barely compared to the astronomical levels that they were at.
Exactly. So, it's crazy. I mean, hey, some of those buildings in Florida are pretty crazy. That Porsche building.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
It's pretty nuts,
I would
right?
love to do an entire show just looking, like a reaction video, just watching all the cool stuff that they're doing with
My understanding is that you drive your vehicle in to the garage, and then an elevator puts you all the way
up to your place. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wait, is it the Porsche building or is it Bentley? Was it Bentley?
I don't know. I remember
Aston Martin. Now I'm tripping out. Was it Porsche?
I don't know.
Oh, Porsche.
There's one of that. That's how much money they got.
Wait, is it Nissan? Let's just name every car manufacturer. Is it Nissan, Toyota, Lexus?
Not that.
No, it's not sure. Chevy. It's not the GMC building. No, Dodge. Okay. So we got. I'm going to go back to another part of our show we just did, which was we were talking about delinquency rate being the lowest. This chart of the rent index year over year going back down looks very much like the delinquency. It is lower now than it was back when we saw before the housing collapse of 2008 and 9, and obviously from the peak back in the 2020, 2021.
Huh?
So
it like almost mirrors that.
You can almost overlap the delinquency rate and the year-over-year percentage of rate change for the rental index, and they look almost exactly the same. It's kind of trippy.
Yeah.
So
there you go. We'll put those. It's pretty wild.
It's very interesting. I mean, there's a huge dip on the rental side when it comes to 08, 9, and 10, which actually correlates with not delinquencies, but it correlates with the home price index. Yeah. But it's funny that the delinquency rate and the rental index are actually pretty close.
Pretty darn close.
For this last 15 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
So as far as rent is concerned, I think they're going to remain elevated. I think that's just, hey, that's what the market's calling for. That's the market rate. The market rate's the market rate.
And here's another thing, Andy, that I like to add to all of this and why it's so important with this for people to understand data and why we share this. When we're looking at a person that's looking to purchase a home, especially since we represent a lot of military, every 3 to 4 years, they're getting orders to go elsewhere. So it's so important to have this data in front of you now to see, hey, this is not my forever home because it can't be. I barely got in the military. I'm like 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. I'm going to get orders in another 3, 4 years. What can I do with this property? Well, guess what? We can rent it out, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully it offsets the mortgage payment with that. And now we can help them purchase another, finance another home elsewhere with their PCS.
Yeah.
Our whole goal is just to understand data so that they can get the proper information and encouragement to go out there
make a choice
and invest, make a choice, have a choice, allow yourself to make the best decision possible.
I like that you said that because I know we dispel, I don't say it this way, but it really is honestly dispelling the myth that like you're just trying to sell people into the greatest debt of their life and sell them a home. And that's like, look, we don't hold a gun to anyone's head for them to buy a home. If they want to buy a home, we're going to help them. If they don't want to buy, fine. I honestly could care less if they don't want to buy a house, because if that's not good for them, then I kind of don't want to do it. I really don't. And the people, that's terrible business. Well, okay, you're also saying it's terrible business that you're basically talking like we force people into homes, which we can't.
Oh yeah, we can't.
We can't do that. People are making their own choices. I like that you say it that way because it's people making informed choices about what their options are, what they can and can't do, why they should or shouldn't, and then they make their choice. Yeah. When they're ready to go, we go. We're their running mate when they ask us to be.
Hey, it's simple mathematics, right? If the numbers make sense, then there you go. You make that decision, based on that.
So on the last part of this article, the single-family rent change for selected geographic areas does have San Diego, Carlsbad right there positioned at the top. So the November 2023 single-family year-over-year rent change, 5.6%. And the October median rent price, $3,899. Here's what's interesting to me. The second listed on this list of places is Minneapolis. Yeah, and Bloomington, Wisconsin. Huh. I'm not so surprised by number 3, Boston. Yeah. Number 4, San Francisco. Number 5, New York. Number 6, urban Honolulu in Hawaii. Okay. Number 7, St. Louis, Missouri. Houston, Detroit, Charlotte, Tucson, Orlando, Los Angeles, Seattle, Dallas, Las Vegas. That all makes sense to me. Yeah. Where is Minneapolis coming from? That is different because that is not on this chart. That's actually not on a lot of other CoreLogic charts. So something is happening up there in Minnesota and in Wisconsin.
Yeah, people are migrating.
So